Hello, welcome back. This civics class again. The last class we were very seriously discussing about our parliament, our democratic system of government, and how the people are empowered to change a government if they are not satisfied with the performance of the government, or if they are not happy with the leadership of their elected leader, MLA or MP. They are given the power to overthrow them and select a new one at the time of election by casting their votes in the person whom they like. So, in a democratic form of government, it is the people who are more powerful. It is the people who decide who should be their leader, who should form their government, and so on. So, through the elections, they give their consent, give their choice to form the government, and the MPs have been elected. Let us see what are they supposed to do in the parliament. What is their duty? What is their responsibility in the parliament after being elected to the parliament? And the first thing we said is to select a national government. That is the first duty of the MPs in the parliament, to select a national government. To select a national government, that is the first duty and responsibility. So the parliament in India consists of the president, the Rajya Sabha, and the Lok Sabha. So president of India is also part of the parliament. After the Lok Sabha elections, a list is prepared showing how many MPs belong to each political party. So we already said in the previous class that there is a list, and in that list the election commission will publish and it will say each party how many candidates they have got, how many members are elected from their own party. So they will publish the list. Then for a political party to form the government, they must have a majority of elected MPs. And I already said in the last class that they should have more than half of the total number of parliament seats. They should have more than half of the members belonging to the party. Then only that party will be able to form the government. Then, for example, since there are 545 elected members plus 2 nominated members in Lok Sabha, to have a majority, a party should have at least half the number, that is 273 members should be there. And the opposition in parliament is formed by all the political parties that oppose the majority party or the coalition form. So the party that has got more than half of the MPs won the election, they will form the government and they will be called a ruling party, members of the ruling party. And all the other members who are not part of this ruling party, they will be called opposition parties. They will be called opposition parties. So ruling party will be one side and opposition party will be another side. So the parliament will be divided into two after the elections. One will be called the ruling party, that the party that has got the majority, and they will be forming the government. They will be called ruling party, and all the other MPs, they will be called opposition parties. And the largest amongst the parties is called the opposition party. So in the opposition party there may be so many parties may be there. So among those parties, one who has got the highest number of MPs, they will be the main opposition party. All are called opposition parties, but one who has got the maximum number of MPs among the opposition parties, they will be called the main opposition party. Then one of the most important functions of the Lok Sabha is to elect the executive. So the two sections are there, opposition parties and the ruling party, and their main duty is to elect the executive. They have to elect the executive. Executive means those who are forming the, or those who are responsible for executing the laws that are formed by the parliament. That means the ministers. Executive here means the minister. So all the members of the political ruling party cannot become executive. They cannot become minister all. So prime minister will be there. Then he will select some more cabinet ministers. Then there will be some more assistant ministers and so on. So all these are called executive. So it will be all the ruling party MPs, they will join together and then they will elect a leader to be the prime minister. So prime minister will be elected and then prime minister will form his cabinet ministers. So whom he want to give the key portfolios, they will be called the cabinet ministers, the home minister, the defense minister, the finance minister. So those who are dealing with the key portfolios or key departments, they will be called cabinet ministers. And then there will be, since this ministry is very big, and there will be one or two more assistant ministers may be there in some department. So all these they have to select. That is how the government is formed. The prime minister, together with him there should be other ministers to help him. So it is the duty of the ruling party to elect a leader, and together with that leader, who is a prime minister, elect other members who are going to be the ministers. So that is the possibility, or that is the first priority of the members of the parliament, to elect the executive members. The executive, as you read in chapter 1, is a group of persons who work together to implement the laws made by the parliament. And this executive is often what we have in mind when we use the term government. So we said in another class, the function of the parliament is to form the laws. So these laws are formed by the members of the parliament, all the members, whether they are ruling party or opposition party. It will be discussion will be there, and all will be giving the approval. Some may be objecting, but if they get majority, then the bill will be passed and it will be made into a law. So that laws have to be implemented. That is the duty of this elected members or the executive. So the ministers, the assistant ministers and other officers. So all those who are working with the office, all those who are holding the government office, it is their duty, their responsibility to execute, to make sure that these laws are followed. So that is called the executive. So when we say the executive, all the members are included there. So they have to make sure that the laws are followed. The laws are followed. That is first thing. Then from MPs who belong to her party, the Prime Minister selects ministers to work with her to implement decisions. As we already said, first the party will elect a Prime Minister, a leader, then Prime Minister will select more people who are qualified, who are expert, who are experienced. So good people he will elect to work with him and to do different works. And these ministers then take charge of different areas of government functioning like health, education, finance, etc. So different people will be selected and they will be given different responsibilities or different portfolios, we can say. Some will be given defense in charge, some will be given finance in charge, some will be given health in charge, some will be given education in charge. So different departments are there and people will hold different departments and they will be responsible for doing the work in their own areas. And oftentimes in the recent past it has been difficult for a single political party to get the majority that is required to form the government. So in recent times we know in our country so many political parties are there. So even the regional political parties, the state political parties, and the national political parties are also so many. So everybody is contesting elections and everybody is able to win one or two seats each or few seats each. So it is difficult for a single party to get majority or more than half of the MPs or seats. So therefore it is possible nowadays that single party cannot get the election also, win the election also. Many parties can join together and form the government. That is what these days are happening. But recent election we know in our country, BJP party alone was able to win the majority of the elections and they were able to form the government by itself. But previously also it was not possible. One party was not able to get the needed majority, so it had to ask other parties, come and join us, come and support us. So that way they will have the required number, 2-3 parties together. That is called coalition government. Different parties join together, collate together and form the government. That is also another option. So coalition government or single party government. If single party does not get enough seats, then they will join with some other parties and form the government together. That is called coalition government. You can underline that last sentence in page number 36. Different parties join together with the different political parties who are interested in similar concerns to form what is known as the coalition government. So when they invite other parties to come and join, if they don't have the same interest of this party, then they may not like to join. They will say our ideas are different, our policies are different, we don't like to join you, we don't like to support you. So sometimes that also happens. Then the Rajya Sabha functions primarily as the representative of the states of India in the parliament. So I already said in the last class, the Rajya Sabha, there is no direct election from the people. It is the MLAs who join the election to elect the representatives of Rajya Sabha or the upper house. The Rajya Sabha can also initiate legislation and a bill is required to pass through the Rajya Sabha in order to become a law. So, if you want to make a bill, that means a law, before it is discussing and accepting by the members, before that it is called a bill. Once it is accepted by or passed by the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, then it becomes a law. So, the bill has to pass through both the houses, both the Rajya Sabha and also the Lok Sabha. If both are not accepting it, then it cannot become a bill. It will be remaining there. Then it therefore has an important role of reviewing and altering the laws initiated by the Lok Sabha. So Rajya Sabha has got a very important function. So whatever Lok Sabha has passed does not mean Rajya Sabha has to accept it. They can point it out, there is such and such mistakes are there, we need to correct this one and we need to add that one. So they can make their own suggestions. Then only they will give their agreement. Otherwise they will not give their agreement and that will not become a law. The members of the Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of the legislative assemblies of various states. As I already said, that it is the MLAs from different states, they are the one electing the Rajya Sabha members. Every state has got a fixed number. This state has got this many Rajya Sabha members. Another state has got this many Rajya Sabha members. So all the MLAs of that state will decide who should be the member to be elected to the Rajya Sabha. And there are 233 elected members plus 12 members nominated by the President. So the MLAs will elect 233 members. Then the President has got power to nominate 12 more people. So 233 plus 12, it will become 245. So total number of Rajya Sabha members will be how many? Rajya Sabha will be 245. So Lok Sabha how much? 545. So that is the number of members in the two houses of the parliament. So that is the first department or first responsibility of this parliament. Now let's see second one. That is to control, guide and inform government. So it is the duty and the responsibility of the members of the parliament to control, to guide and to inform the government. What they are to guide, what they are to inform, let's see. They are to guide, inform and control. So the parliament while in session begins with the question hour. So when parliament is coming together for session, session means meeting, parliament meeting is there. So every time when they begin this session or meeting, before that there is a time called question hour. So every MP has the power or they have got the chance to ask question to the government or to anyone in the parliament. So mostly it is the MPs asking question to the government or to the ministers, why it is like this, or why that law is made like that, or why it is such and such things are happening. So they will question the government and government will have to give satisfactory answer. So that way the opposition parties will be asking so many questions to the government, the ministers, and the ministers will have to give reply. So ministers cannot do anything. If they do anything wrong, then the opposition MPs will catch them, will question them, and they will have to give answer. So that way there is controlling. So the question hour is an important mechanism through which MPs can elicit information about the working of the government. So the MPs can ask the question to the ministers, different ministers, and they will have to explain why it is done like this or how it is being done like this. So they can control the government by asking questions. And this is very important way through which the parliament controls the executive. So they are controlling. How they are controlling? The parliament is controlling the executive or the ministers or the government by asking them question, by questioning them. Why are you doing this way? Why are you not doing this? So they will question every activity of the government. That way the ruling party will be very careful. If they do something wrong, then opposition party will question them. So they have to be very careful and provide a good performance of the government. Then by asking questions, the government is alerted to its shortcomings and also comes to know the opinion of the people through their representatives in the parliament, that is the MPs. So when MPs ask question to the ministers, the people are also watching it in the TV. There are TV channels are there, Lok Sabha channel, Rajya Sabha channel. So all the things that is going on in this house, it is shown to the TV, and the people can see how their representatives are working or functioning in the parliament. Are they going and sitting and sleeping there, or are they going and sitting and giving trouble or creating problems, or are they observing the works of the government? Are they asking about the problems of the people? Are they making the demand to give solution to the problems of the people? The people can watch how their representatives are performing in the parliament. So if they find that they are not performing well, they are not representing the people's problems to the government. Then next election will come, people can teach them a lesson by defeating them, by selecting some other people to go to the parliament. So that is, the people also need to be alert and watch how their representatives are working. Accordingly, they can rate them. If they are working good, then give them good rate and promote them again, select them again. If they are not performing well, then defeat them and select someone else. Then the opposition parties play a critical role in the healthy functioning of a democracy. They highlight drawbacks in various policies and programs of the government and mobilize popular support for their own policies. So the opposition parties, those who are not in the government, so it is they who play a very vital role in controlling the government. So they will be observing very closely and they will be watching what are the things the government is speaking, government is doing, and if they will be very eager to catch the mistakes of the government and make it public and question in the question hour in the parliament, so that people will watch their performance. They will know that this party is doing well in the parliament, so at least in the next election people may give them a chance and make them a ruling party. So everyone will be very keen to perform well in the parliament, the ruling party, also the opposition party, because they know people are watching what they are doing, and it is the people who decide what or who should win the next elections. So everybody will be very eager to show that they are doing very well in the parliament, and it is a performance to the people, in front of the people, to win the next elections. See the next page, there is a question is written there. One MB was asking a question to the government. So what is the question? It is, the question is, a minister is asking to the Women and Child Development Minister. An MB is asking to the Minister of Women and Child Development. What is the question? Whether the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights has asked all state governments to ban junk foods in schools and also for setting up of nutrition standards. So in many schools there is selling of junk food, or canteens may be there, and or shops may be there nearby, and buy junk food. Junk food means the food that is already prepared in the plastics, uncle chips and other fried items. All these are called junk foods. So it is not good for health. Therefore, it is banned. That all the schools, it is banned in all the schools, and it is told not to sell those things because it is not good for the health of the students. So he is asking, has the commission, National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, has asked all state commission to ban all these junk foods or not? That is his question. Then he says, and if so, if it is asked, then give the details. How or to which state it is asked, or how it was asked, all those things. So then the ministry is, then whether the union government has ensured the compliance of the above standards by the states. So then the state will reply, what was the response of the state? Has the union government or the central government has taken note of it? And if so, give the details. And if central government has taken any action, give the details. So that is a question asked by an MP to a minister. So minister has to give answer. What action have you taken against the junk food being sold in the school premises, or what action the state government has taken, and what action the central government has taken? So the minister has to reply. See what reply minister gave. Answer. The Minister of State of the Ministry of Women and Child Development giving the answer. Question number A. 4 questions he has asked. So she is answering question number A and B. He says, no, we have not asked. A letter was issued to the states. So only a letter was given to the state governments by the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights to consider providing guidelines to schools to create a school nutrition policy. So we have not asked them to ban the junk food, only what we have said, make a guideline, prepare a policy for the guidelines how to provide nutritious food for the school students. And so number C and D do not arise. So he was asking the question and government said, sorry, we have not done that. So that way the MPs can ask question to every person, to every minister, and the minister will have to give a reply. Now the government gets valuable feedback and is kept on its toes by the questions asked by MPs. So the government also will be nervous. What question is the opposition party is going to ask? How are we going to answer? So they have to be prepared. Whatever question they ask, they cannot say we will study and say afterwards, but immediately they have to give answer. So all the ministers, they have to be ready with the answer. Whatever question they may ask, they should be ready to answer that question. So they have to be well prepared, they have to be very well aware what the ministry is doing, what the officers are doing, what the state governments are doing, everything. They cannot say, oh, I don't know, I forgot, I did not check all those things. Then that shows the government is not very good. So government has to be up to date. So the government is on their toes. They cannot take rest. They cannot say, let me take rest today, tomorrow I will find out the answer. Not that way. So because of the opposition MPs are strong and smart, then the government also has to be very smart. And in addition, in all matters dealing with finances, the Parliament's approval is crucial for the government. So whatever plan the government is making, the government has to get the approval of the Parliament. This is one of the several ways in which the Parliament controls, guides and informs the government. And the MPs, as representatives of the people, have a central role in controlling, guiding and informing Parliament. And this is a key aspect of the functioning of Indian democracy. So these functions will be done by the MPs, mainly by the opposition MPs. We said they will control by asking the questions, how the government is functioning, what about that, what about this, what work is done on that. Then they will continue to guide. When the bills are prepared or when they are going to make the laws, they will give their suggestion. They will say, if this law need to little more correction, some more things to be added. So they will give their suggestion. Then they will inform the government. The people are suffering, maybe because there was flood and the people are suffering, they have no food, their shelter is lost, and they will inform to the government, we need to give help for them, we need to find a shelter for them, we need to arrange food for them. So government, the MPs will inform the government about the condition of the people, so that way they will inform the government. So that way the democracy will function properly if all the MPs are doing their work properly. So that is how in India the democracy has to function properly. Then the third role of the Parliament is to make law. Making law. We said the lawmaking in the Parliament is they will bring a bill, the law that they are planning to make, they will discuss in the Lok Sabha. If Lok Sabha majority of the members are agree, then it will be going to Rajya Sabha. If majority members are not agreeing in the Lok Sabha, then that bill is cancelled. It cannot proceed again to Rajya Sabha. So if it is passed in the Lok Sabha, then it will go to Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha also more than half of the people have to support that, then it will become a law. So all the laws in the country that is made in the Parliament or in the Assembly. If it is made in the Parliament, it is for all the country, and if it is made in the Assembly, it is only meant for that state. So that is these are the functions of the parliament. Now we have just one more topic is there, which I'll just wind it up after that. So who are the people in parliament? The question: who are the people in parliament? The parliament now has more and more people from different backgrounds. For example, there are more rural members as also members from many regional parties. Groups and peoples that were till now unrepresented are beginning to get elected to the parliament. So, all the times, most of the rich people or influential people were elected to the parliament. All the MPs, they were very famous, they were rich and so on. So, those days are gone. Now, more and more parties are participating in the election. Some are state parties we saw in the previous class. Some members are from the many state parties are there, many regional parties are there, and so many national parties are there. So every party is putting up candidates. So more and more people from different backgrounds. Some may be Dalits, some may be backward caste, some may be scheduled caste, some may be high caste. So people from all regions, from all areas, they are given chance to stand for election and become members in the parliament. So they all can represent the country and the people of their area. They can work for their people. And there has also been an increase in political participation from the Dalit and the backward caste and the minority. So we see as the years are passing by, more and more people are coming forward to participate in the election, to participate and stand for the election as a candidate and so on. So more people, some may be belonging to minority, some may be belonging to Dalit or scheduled caste or scheduled tribe and so on. Then let us look at the following table that shows the percentage of the population who voted in Lok Sabha election in different years. So there is a table given there. You can see the number of people participated in the election. So when the election comes, all the people are not going for voting. They sit at home. They think, what is the use of voting? Whether I vote or not vote, that party will form the government. So they feel lazy to go for participating in this and they just sit at home. But as the years are passing by, we can see there is a improvement. So in the year first election 1951-52, we see 44.87% of the people went for voting. So not even half of the people went for voting, only just 44 points. Then the fourth election 1967, we see the number has increased. So more than half of the people went for election. 61.04% of the total population went for voting. Then the fifth election, it came down again. It became 55%. Then in the sixth election, then again it went up a little more, 60.49. Then eighth election, it increased again. It became 63.56, and we can see in the list that is the highest turnout. That is a higher percentage of people participating in the election. Then in the 10th election, it came down 56.73%. And 14th election in the 2004 year, it became little more again, 58.07. So we can see through this, looking at this table, we see that the people are not coming out wholeheartedly. All the people are not coming out. Just half or little more than half only participating. The rest of the people are just avoiding the election. They are not interested in casting the votes and so on. So that is not a good sign of democracy. Every person should participate and go for casting their votes. Then they can really claim that this government is mine. I am also part of this government. I am also electing my leader. So they will be able to say properly. So it is an essential thing in the democracy that all the people should come out and participate in the election. Then it has been observed that representative democracy cannot produce a perfect reflection of society. So if half of the people are not coming for vote, then the other people who are elected, the leaders who are elected, we cannot say they are the real representative of the people, because half of the people did not go for vote, they are sitting at home. So only half of the people went and they are the one electing. If other half were to come, then they would have elected somebody else. So if all the people don't come, then we cannot really say, in the real sense, we cannot say these elected members are the real representative of the people. So we must encourage everyone to go for election and cast their valuable vote and choose the right person who will govern them, who will be their representative. And with this in mind, some seats are reserved in the parliament for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So, since in order to reserve, in order to give representation to every community, especially to STs and SCs, government said this seat is reserved for ST, this seat is reserved for SC. So, the candidate who is standing there for election, it has to be from that community, ST community or SC community. Other community like general or OBC and so cannot stand there. So it is reserved so that those people also will get their representation. So purposely government is giving them opportunity to stand for election. So members belonging to other community cannot stand in that constituency for the election. And this has been done so that the MPs elected from these constituencies will be familiar with and can represent Dalit and Adivasi interests in the parliament. So these seats are reserved for these people so that they can come to the parliament and they can really present the problem their people are facing. They can represent into the parliament and make it aware about the government or bring it to the notice of the government. That is the purpose. So they are reserved. The seats are reserved. And similarly, it has more recently been suggested that there should be reservation of seats for women, and this issue is still being debated. 60 years ago, only 4% of the MPs were women, and today there is just about 9%. This is a small share when you consider the fact that half of the population are women. So, another thing that the parliament is discussing these days is participation of women in the parliament. So, the discussion is going on, and the suggestion or the bill that they want to discuss in the parliament is 33% for women. So 33% of the total members, that is at least one third of the members should be women MPs. That is the discussion. But all the MPs are not agreeing, because majority of the MPs are men and they don't want to give chance to the women. Therefore, they are not discussing this issue, or they are not giving permission to this bill to go ahead and become law. They are always objecting because men want all the power. So at present, only just 9% of the women are members in the parliament. Earlier it was just 3%, and now after so many years it has increased a little bit and it has become 9%. So it is very little. So half of the population in India are women, and they have to elect men members. So the male members, and so it is not so good. If there is enough women members are there, then they also will be able to stand for their people. They will be able to bring to the parliament the issues faced by the women and so on. Men may not be much interested in solving the issues of the women, so they have to elect more women members in the parliament so that they can work for women and so on. And it is issues of this kind that force the country to ask certain difficult and often unresolved questions about whether our democratic system is representative enough. So when we see that in the parliament very few people are there, women, so are we representing enough? So few Dalits are there, few STs and SCs are there. So are we representing enough? Suppose in our country women are more, then there should be more women leaders. Suppose SCs and STs and Dalits and Adivasi, if they are more, then there should be more leaders from that community. Then only we can really say they are representing India. Otherwise, they are not representing India. So that is a question to be asked. So some of you, as you grow up, you may become political leaders, you may become MLAs and MPs, and so ask this question. In our parliament, are we giving enough representation to every community? Women, Dalits, SC, ST, Adivasi, all those. So we need to work for that. It's not that I want to become minister or I want to become MP, I want to become powerful. Not that way. Whatever position that we get, it is meant for serving our country. It is meant for helping the country to improve, become stronger and stronger. So always that mentality should be there, that idea should be there. I want to serve my country, I want to serve my fellow human beings. That should be the position, not for I want to hijack the money which is meant for road, I will take half I give for making road, or I want to make a bridge and half money I want to take for myself. Not that way. Most of the politicians are doing that, they are cheating, and they are, because of they are powerful, they are escaping from punishment and so on. So that should not be the right motive. We should have the real motive to help the people. Then only we can really say our country is democracy and the best form of government. So let us pledge that as we grow up, as we get chance for voting, as we make use of that adult franchise, universal adult franchise, let us choose the right leader who is less corrupt, who is more sincere and honest, and who will work for the country. Then that way we can give our might, our share to improve the political system in India and bring out the overall development of our country. So that way we wind up this class here, and few exercises are there, and I'll be giving the note, and you can write down this note, then copy it in your notebook and send it to my personal WhatsApp number, and I will check it and send it back. So thank you for listening, and the next class we will take geography class. Okay, so we have completed 3 classes from civics section, then we will go back. So 2 lessons we have already finished from geography. I will take the 3rd lesson from geography. So we'll meet you in the next day. Thank you for listening. Bye.